And welcome to the latest edition of the 941 Sports Zone, episode number 18 in the series. We got a special guest today. We will introduce him in just a moment. We'll let you know that the 941 Sports Zone is presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida, locally owned and nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses throughout the Gulf Coast. Give them a call. The weather's great now. This is the time, 941-251-4257. 941-251-4257. I'm Spitz. He's John, not tanking Masoni.
Never.
But you're a Jets fan, and they certainly look like they're in tank mode.
So this is we're gonna put a big bookmark on that because that's gonna be something that's bugging me about that.
You think so? All right.
Yeah.
And our very special guest is head coach John Peacock of the Venice Indians football team. Multiple state champion last time, year before last, or I guess it would be last year if you want to get technical. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, excited to be here.
All right. And I'm going to start there, even though I didn't put it on the shot sheet, John.
Yes.
Another very successful year at Venice. It wasn't the finish you wanted, but 9 wins, extremely difficult schedule, got all the way to the state semifinals. And the team that actually beat you ended up winning on a Hail Lake Mary. I asked John this question last week, really wanted to ask you it, so I will now that I have you here. They ended up winning the state championship. What are your thoughts about that? How do you feel about that? Is it okay to lose to the eventual state championship? Does it make you a little angrier? Give me your thoughts.
It really doesn't matter to me. Disappointing end to the season, like you said. I think there's been a couple years where I felt like we were the better team, and we didn't get it done. And that was in 2023 and in 2025. I felt like we were a better football team than Lake Mary. I felt like we were a better team than Lakeland in 2023, and we just failed to get it done. And I try to tell the kids all the time, it's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that plays the best. And, looking at the stats, you look at the stats, you probably think we did win the game, but it came up short on a couple things. Really it just came down to one series, really. We had the ball up 3. If we score in that series, probably win the game. And it was one of the 2 series we didn't score. We had 7 possessions, which is a very small amount.
Yeah.
A very small amount of possessions in a football game, and they milked the clock from the beginning of the game, and so that makes every possession even more crucial. And our possessions were really kind of explosive. There was a 1-play drive, a 3-play drive, a 5-play drive, and then we turned it over on downs once, and we punted once, and you take away the time that we were up by 3, and we went for it and didn't get it. That was the difference of the game, really.
I thought there were a couple of calls, particularly on the 2 onside kicks. Maybe not so much the first one, but definitely the second one. After you had a chance to look at it, give me your thoughts on those.
I think 10 years ago, you asked me, I'm probably going to be upset. Ask me now, we should have won it, when we didn't score in that series. And, being on the road, you're going to get calls that aren't always going to go your way. And, but the play in particular you're talking about, the guy on our side said it was clean. It's your ball. The first one was 100% a guess. They guessed on that. It's hard to tell. So that was an absolute guess. I'm there. I know it's happening. And I'm looking and knowing it's happening, and they're there. They're looking, but they don't necessarily know it's happening. So I have a little bit better perspective of what's going on and what to look for if we're going a surprise onside kick. So definitely the second one, they attacked it, touched it, and for some reason they overturned it. But obviously one thing that I'm a little disappointed is that there's operations, and if we touched it, then the first thing that should happen is should have been a flag thrown, and there was
Right.
never a flag thrown on either of them. So to me, it was the first one was a guess. The second one was, I don't know. Let's get out of
They
here
missed
safe.
it. I'll say it. They missed it.
Yeah, let's get out of here safe. Well, they
Well,
didn't miss it. They didn't
I
miss
also-
it.
I also-
The guy on our sideline didn't miss it. He said, "It's your ball. It was clean, your ball," and there's no doubt about it that we're going down there to score after we
Right.
got up.
I think sometimes when some of the crews, you see it in the NFL too, even college and whatever, they get into these powwows and they sort of talk one person out of it, what they say to be true. I don't know. I'm sure. Well, there's 3 I don't knows and 1 I'm sure. Maybe the 1 I'm sure should be the guy, not the 3 I don't knows who want to have some sort of influence in it. And then of course, ultimately the guy with the white cap on is the one he's going to sort of be the arbiter of everything. That's, I'll make a decision here. And, ultimately I think in both cases, because the ball was spotted on the opposite side, on the one side of the 50 or the other, I think that might have been a convincing factor for somebody in some cases. So how they figure things out, I think sometimes is sort of convoluted. I wish I could point it to a certain crew or a certain level of sport or football, I should say. But in all cases of that, it seems to be a lot of conversation about things that lead to sort of more unnecessary sort of explanations and overthought on things that are pretty simple to figure out once you look at it from the perspective of somebody who's got a good view of it.
Well, I'm telling you right now that it's tough. It's tough to figure out who gets that ball. I mean, it is tough. But I mean, the second one to me it was pretty clear that their guy attacked the ball and touched it. But even though it was clear to me, again, you're talking about, I knew it was coming. So I kind of knew what to look for. And my eyes were focused on right there at the 10-yard line, knowing, 10 yards away at the 50, knowing that that's where the ball was going and knowing where the ball placement was going to be. I mean, I knew that before the play happened and they didn't. So again, the game came down to us not converting and us punting. We had 2 series that we didn't produce in, and we kind of knew going in the game that we had to score. Like we had to score every time we got the ball. We had to score, and we didn't. And then we also had the fumble, which was it a fumble?
Was it a fumble? Right, exactly.
No, it wasn't a fumble. But again, you're on the road. You didn't do your job during the regular season, and you got yourself in a situation where you got to play on the road. So those things are going to happen. Hopefully, if we were at home, hopefully we get some of those calls. And I think that's what it is. So I wouldn't say the refs did a bad job. Like I said, it's tough. Those are you get out there and look, and when you got 11 bodies flying around and a ball that you can't even see where the heck it's at, and try to make that call, it's tough.
Talking with Coach John Peacock, who's our special guest. I'm guessing right after the first of the year, back into the weight room.
We're back in. We've started Monday after we lost. We started the following Monday. We gave him a week off. We had 64 this morning for Santa workouts. So
wow,
that's pretty good attendance, for a Christmas break. So we're coming, buddy. You better be ready for us next year.
Yeah.
Coach, I got a question for you too. How do you feel about the finale now of the new district?
Yes.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I think we're being forced to play some weak teams, and it's a lot. 5 games.
And it's a 6-team district, as big as we've seen in a long time.
So it's in order to, we want to be challenged every Friday, and I don't know. I don't like it. I like the fact that I don't have to get on the phone every day and try to find a game. But I don't know. We'll see. I think we're gonna have to create definitely some challenges during practice to keep us sharp.
Yeah.
And the other district, I think now they've squashed everybody in the area into 3 districts, I think is what ended up happening, because now 6A's got a 6-team district from local teams. You've got 3A where they've piled up a few teams as well. And
Mooney ran from 2A. They saw that region and they ran from that.
Yeah, and that's a rough one for sure.
I don't agree that the state let them do that. Heck, if we could run from people, we could have ran from St. Thomas for 5 years and we'd have 5 more state championships. But old Mooney ran from that competition.
And then you've had the situation where you have Lemon Bay going independent, which was I was sort of surprised at that, because I thought that they would sort of fit right into the district with the 3A schools, maybe even pop up a little bit higher. But
I think that's a bad move. I think that's a bad move long term. Look what happened in North Fort. I mean, North Fort wasn't great, but they were competitive. Not necessarily against us, but they were competitive against Sarasota. They were competitive against other people, and look what happened when they went independent.
Do they just allow? I mean, are they very, very generous with the appeals? It seems like that if you ask for it, you get it in a lot of cases.
It's a judgment. It's a judgment on their end. Like obviously we couldn't go independent. They wouldn't allow us to go independent, but
right.
So that's a judgment call on them. Like if they feel like that team is, I guess, non-competitive and FHSA, they'll allow it.
One other thing too, I don't know if you saw, but it seemed like the rural classification is down to about 16 teams, 18 teams. It didn't look like there was much left in the rural classification. And is it just going to be is this regular season going to be just a formality to whoever's going to win the state championship? Because it seems like they're all in the same area, but a very small numbers in those rural classifications.
Well, I think that they don't have to play a district schedule. That's correct, right? They just play. They can play wherever they want.
Yeah.
So I think that they probably not going to play each other every week, but I'm sure they'll play just a regular schedule and then figure out by the rankings where they line up as far as the playoffs.
Yeah, because I saw that, I was like, okay, that's sort of and again trying to make a smaller amount of classifications. You're really almost down to a 5. 4, 6, because it would be 7 with the rural. So you're down to 6 classifications, and so what you get is what you got was you're getting sort of squashed into other schools that I don't even know if they fit the bill as far as a population of the school, but I guess they're going to try to get everybody in a local area and jam them into districts.
Yeah, well, I think I think they let you. They're more acceptable for you to move up than move down. Like you saw, Sarasota moved up because I guess had a bunch of talent in their district, which they allow, and I guess they allowed Mooney to move up because they didn't want him to have to compete against Chaminade and those Cardinal Newman and all those other schools. But a lot of things are going to. We have the meeting on January 8th, and hopefully we can come up with a better ranking system and hopefully come up with a solid format of who's going to be in the open division. The FHSA football advisory board that I'm on, that we're going to meet on the 8th and hopefully iron some of that stuff out.
Is that going to lead, like I said, we know is it more teams, less teams? What's the mindset?
As far as the open?
Yeah.
Well, I think that originally they just wanted to take the top 8 teams, and but the first thing that needs to be fixed is the ranking system. And you take the top 8 teams in the FHSA ranking system, that doesn't even make sense. You look at those and you put those teams in the open division, doesn't make sense. Now you look at the top 8 teams in Max Preps, that makes sense. So that's the first thing that needs to be fixed. And then I think my thought on the open division. When I spoke to Craig Damon last year at this time was, there needs to be some like prerequisites for that as well, not just, for example, let's just take Riverview for example. Like Riverview was undefeated, right? Undefeated, or they're 8-1 until they played us, but they're 8-0. Let's say they come out and they beat us, they're 9-0 on the season, or 9-0-1, right? They had to tie, whatever. And so let's say they're one of the top 8 teams. Are they really? No, they're not. They're not
Right.
anywhere close. And I think if you have some prerequisites saying, all right, well, one, if your school's never won a state championship, you're not even in consideration. You don't make it. You can't make it. They won't allow you to make it. Two, if you've won, my thought was if you've won 3 back-to-back, 3 consecutive state championships, you're automatically in. Like, it doesn't matter what you're ranked.
Right.
You're automatically in. And then there's, some other factors. If you have 3 or 4 losses, you're out. Even if you're ranked, because sometimes, Max Preps, which they're pretty smart, like American Heritage, they had 4 losses, and they're still ranked up there pretty high. And same with TFA, but obviously their schedule is a little bit tougher than most, but they were still ranked up there pretty high. So you can almost look preseason and say, all right, well,
Right.
it's going to be here's 16 teams. I guarantee 8 of these teams are going to be in the open division. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you can also throw teams in there that you could say, no matter what, they shouldn't be in the open division.
Right.
Before they even play a game.
Right. Right.
Well, that should be an interesting meeting on January 8th. And hopefully we'll have you on afterwards. You can kind of give us the 411 on exactly what went on there. I know you have some strong opinions, and that's do you have you said you're on the council?
Yeah, I'm on the FHSA football advisory board.
Okay. Well, that should be a very interesting meeting coming up. All right, let's go to college football, guys. I know you both follow college football very well, Coach. I know you like Alabama, like what they stand for in that, and you had to be pretty happy with their win over Oklahoma. The fact that they were down 17, didn't quit, and in fact, before halftime, you kind of felt that game was, at least I did. I felt that game was pretty much over because even though it was 17-17, Alabama had taken the punch on the road and absorbed it, and they played very well in the second half.
Well, I'm a Nick Saban fan.
I got you.
But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I don't like Alabama anymore, but I kind of still do like Alabama. They're still kind of my team. And although I feel like they're kind of a shell of what they used to be without him, but watching that game and them tying it up before half, you were like, they're probably going to end up sealing the deal there. And poor Indiana, I feel like they got a little bad draw of the winner of that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, that 1-8 matchup, that's a tough 1-8 matchup right there. You can look down a little further and say, man, Indiana might have been better off if they reseeded something or did whatever. But obviously, the where you are is where you are, and I think a lot of people underestimated Alabama against Oklahoma. I thought that the home field was going to be a big factor for Oklahoma, and
it was early. It was early.
Yeah, but I almost turned into the opposite. Once they got behind, the Oklahoma fan base was almost like sort of in stunned silence in some way, and it didn't really get out of control for the most part. But they lost everything just sort of just crumbled around them, and you could see it in the fan base. They didn't know what to do or how to react to it.
Well, Alabama is one of those teams. 1 week they're the best team in the country, then the next week you're like, why did these guys get in? So if they can put 2 weeks together, they're going to be a dangerous team. But also you wouldn't be surprised if they got blown out by somebody.
Interesting. Do you guys remember what the 1-8 matchup was last year?
Oh, it was Oregon
and Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
Ohio State was the 8. If you're the 1, you should be able to take care of business. Indiana's been great all year. I think Indiana will do just fine in that game. But yeah, I do. I really do.
But the only thing I'll say too, to that, Rich, it's sometimes it's been there, done that. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
Like, there's a lot to be said about having that experience in the program itself. I think Indiana's super high right now. They think they're feeling great about themselves. They got a quarterback with a Heisman Trophy in his hands, and you got a home game,
which is not always a positive.
Right? No, it's not. And every after the Heisman Trophy, everything's usually downhill for the team and the guy who wins it. But nonetheless, I think that with Ohio State and Oregon's been around a little bit, but maybe not as much as Ohio State in that near future kind of thing. And Indiana, in this case, a big game against Ohio State. Don't get me wrong; they played a heck of a game against Penn State, but Alabama, I mean, they're a battle-tested, program. They play so many of these games now that you have guys that have been there for 4 years and they've played in 16 big games that of equal magnitude to this one, where Indiana hasn't. And so sometimes you wonder where that's going to happen. Will it fall down around him?
I think the big difference is Alabama has a huge target on them every week, every single week. And then, Indiana, do they? No. Do they now? Maybe. But and you're talking about the college football playoffs, it doesn't matter then. So I think that part of it, Indiana's obviously not going to sneak up on them. I would have took Indiana over Oklahoma, but I won't take them over Alabama.
Should be an interesting game. Alabama,
I can see. I see your logic.
Beat 4 consecutive ranked teams at one point during the middle of the season, and I don't think that is taken seriously enough, to be truthfully honest with you. I think they were, even though they had 3 losses and they had the game against Georgia, they should have been higher than a 9. Would you guys agree?
Well, I think the Florida State loss was kind of strange.
Now you sound like the committee. The committee ranks the losses more than they rank the wins. I hate that.
Well, I'm just saying you lose to a what was Florida State, 3-8, or what was their record? I don't know.
No, it was 2-10, Coach. Thanks. I'll bring that in.
2-10. Who were their wins against? Alabama and
no. Oh, you mean this year?
Yeah.
Oh, this year they were 5-7.
All right, so they're 5-7, and they didn't just beat. I mean, they beat the heck out of Alabama.
Beat the doors off. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that loss kind of throws you out a little bit.
Okay. That will be at the Rose Bowl, by the way. That's the Big Ten home game, basically, at 5:00 on January 1st. Miami and Texas A&M. What a defensive struggle that was. Miami ends up getting the win. They finally score in the last 2 minutes of regulation, although really in the second half you could feel the momentum on Miami's side. But Miami gets it done 10-3. ACC beats SEC. I know a lot of people are making a big deal about that, but your guys' thoughts. Start with you, Coach.
I mean, I think Miami's defense is unbelievable. The freshman Tony is doing an unbelievable job. I think they got a quarterback that has some experience. It was really windy there, so they say the biggest factor in a football game is wind, not rain or snow or anything else. But they say the biggest factor is wind. So it was extremely windy there, so that could have had a lot to do with the low scoring.
Multiple missed field goals due to the wind. Which would have, it still wouldn't have been a high-scoring football game, but it would have been a little bit different, especially in regards to Miami. I thought their kicker just sort of lost there for a bit. I do agree that defensively, Miami's front four is probably the most athletic that I've seen all year, from week 1 to week 17, whatever we're in, 18 now, whatever we're into it, because They took a guy in Kellen Mond who is a mobile quarterback. I wouldn't call him a running or a dual threat guy, but he can run the ball. There's no doubt about it. And made him stay in that pocket. And he took 5 sacks in that game. Again, and also an Texas A&M running game that had 4 guys who were competent runners. A couple guys got hurt. I do understand that. But no chance to run the football at all against that Miami defensive front. So Miami's defensive front, no matter who they face or how, if they keep going forward, they might be the most dominant unit left in the entire playoffs right now, because they just physically took apart a Texas A&M team that were playing at home and had done so well all year with their running game and rendered them useless You could see Mon was going to throw an interception at the end of that game. You could feel it. It was palpable. Even though he had the crowd on his side, he was not comfortable one bit. So yeah, interested to see how Miami can move forward with that potent defensive line.
So Miami now takes on Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. By the way, going back, Indiana's a 7-point favorite in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State is a 10-point favorite over Miami in the Cotton Bowl, and it's an interesting matchup.
Miami money line.
Yeah, well, I think Miami's definitely have a chance to stay within the 10. Ohio State's biggest weakness is running the ball, and they've had struggles on the offensive line. And John, you just talked about it, Coach. Their defensive line is going to wreak havoc. I mean, Indiana wreaked havoc on Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. I was surprised that number was that big.
Miami money line. Do you know the spread of the 2003 national championship, Miami versus Ohio State?
10.
11.5. Yeah. 11.5. Miami was favored 11.5.
Yeah.
It'll be a huge game for them. Huge game for their alumni.
If Carson Beck can play average, I'm talking average for him or average for any college quarterback, I think Miami wins that game with not going away, but I would say handily. Ohio State, you're right. What Indiana did to them is going to be tough. The X factor for Ohio State is Smith, the wide receiver.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy's a freak. And he can do some things, and you're going to have a hard time if they can get the ball in his hands, and he'll keep him close. But Miami, if Carson Beck can do anything, I think that D line is going to really make it hard for Ohio State to run the ball. And Julian saying what freshman is he's a freshman, red shirt or whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of had a schedule that he sort of coasted. I hate to say that it sounds wild, but a little bit of a coasting situation. Boy, you get to come back and get that Miami defense geared up. Might be a long day for him if they can get themselves geared up.
Miami money line.
So I guess Coach is saying Miami on the money line.
If you don't, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
Where's the game at? Where's the game at?
The game is at the Cotton Bowl in Jerry World.
Yeah, all right.
So it's going to be a controlled environment. So I think that actually helps Ohio State a little bit because I really thought the elements helped Miami in the last game. Ole Miss buried Tulane yet again. Regular season was 45-10. This was 41-10. I don't know what to say really. I mean, Ole Miss scored 2 touchdowns before I even sat down. Made it 14-0. Game got a little, leveled out with 17-3 at half, and then Ole Miss just decided to put it away. I don't know what you take from that, really. Coach, you've been in that situation where, you've played Riverview in the regular season, then you play them again I'm just using that as the example because I think that's happened more than any other. You play them again in the playoffs. What do you gain, and how do you get your team ready for a game like that where you've already destroyed them?
You talk about experiences where you have destroyed somebody and they come back and beat you. Mm-hmm. So we have that happened to us in 2009. We put a running clock on Charlotte. Charlotte came back and beat us in the second round of the playoffs. So I always bring that up. And as a coach, I'm very, very fearful of that happening. So I'm a little bit on edge on those type of weeks and make it very important that we don't overlook anybody or look ahead. But back to the Ohio State or the Ole Miss Tulane, Venice High had 3 wide receivers on the field during that game. Pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they and Omari Hayes was a big target early and late in that game. And like I said, it's fun to see because the level of play that they're all at right now. Winston Watkins as a true freshman contributing to Ole Miss. It's a definite. It's a cool thing to watch when you're watching these kids and you've seen them do things on the high school field and now still performing and getting better as they get more experience.
Did Winnie have a catch in that game?
I didn't see him much in the first half, John. I thought he was maybe hurt for a little bit, but he was out there a bunch in the second half. Didn't really find him very much. Amari he was targeted.
I know Amari had a bunch of catches and Zacarl had a catch. I didn't know if Winnie had a catch, but Winnie's had a great year though. Anyway, whether he had a catch that game or not.
Absolutely great year, and there's no doubt about it. One thing I will say, go back to the Ole Miss Tulane game. I thought it was a very interesting conversation pregame. Nick Saban talking about what you just said, John, about how he preps teams when it is a redo or a team that's a lesser team than you are. And he said he always talked about their standard, meaning Alabama's standard. Yeah. We got to play to our standard, not down to theirs. Okay, we have to go out there and look at it and say this. We have a certain way we intend to play, and if you don't meet our standard, then somebody else will. And if you allow that to get it, if you make that the goal, as opposed to trying to say we got to beat them by X amount of points or whatever, play to the standard that we've created for ourselves every game we play, no matter what it is.
I always approach it as, we're going to lose the game, because I tell you, it is. That's probably it's a little worse than losing to somebody that you're better than, is losing to someone that you're better than and already have beaten them and then losing to them and when it counts. So I'm always on high alert, and I'm I don't know, I'm a big fraidy cat, man. Like when we're playing teams we're supposed to win in the playoffs, especially if it's Riverview or someone in our district, like I'm a big fraidy cat, and I don't sleep well, and I definitely make it important to our players.
Well, I'll say to you this too, like I said, because like a second time around, one thing I've always thought about is who's got nothing to lose? The team that lost the first time. And you never know. Somebody comes in and says, hey, you know what? We're going to roll out a whole different whatever you saw on film is not going to exist. We're going to go this route or do this, especially defensively, where you can kind of say, hey, you know what? Let's just throw everything at them and just go do something different, or again, run clock on offense or whatever it may be. So also potential.
Also we've been on the other end a couple times. I don't know the exact year, but I want to say maybe it was like 19 and then 20 when we lost to Manatee in the regular season, and then we had to go up there in the regional championship and we spanked them in the regional championship game. And I just know how I felt as a coach going into that game, the second game, and then the other time they beat us in the regular season, they didn't even make it to us. We played somebody else in the regional championship that they lost to. But I just know that year, I always look back to that year and how I felt, and like how excited our team was to get a chance to play again and get some revenge, and especially since we didn't play very well the first time.
Well, here we got another rematch in the Sugar Bowl, as Ole Miss will take on Georgia, one of the better regular season games there was. Ole Miss had a lead through three quarters, and Georgia clamped down in the fourth quarter defensively in that game. I actually had Georgia in that game, and I had ripped up my fictional ticket through my phone, but Georgia was able to win the game. Kirby Smart's got to be thinking kind of the same thing. Georgia's 6.5 point favorite. They were an 8 point favorite in the first game. The one thing I was impressed with Ole Miss, guys, and I don't know if I'd like to get your thoughts. I thought the offense looked about the same. I know that Lane Kiffin called all the plays earlier, and obviously his OC stayed behind and called the plays the other day. I don't think Ole Miss missed a beat there, and you self-scout there. That game was up for grabs till about 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, Ole Miss money line.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss has a lot on this one. I mean, there's definitely a us against the world deal, even though the world is one person. You know what I mean? But prove it to them. Show them what you're going to do. Show them how good you are. Whatever that may be. It has some significance to it. You can see they took care of Tulane basically from the first snap. Very impressed at how they handled themselves the entire game. It wasn't just a game that I think Oregon with the backdoor cover, which obviously ruined your Rich's
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
But
Yeah,
I was
me
wondering
too.
about
Me
that.
too. Me too. That
Yeah.
was
Well, I actually played, and I talked about this, and we'll get to that in a second. But go ahead and finish your thought, John.
Well, anyway, so my thought about this too is that the Ole Miss went into the game where it's going to sound terrible to say, but Tulane had a great year. So did James Madison. But in some ways, like this is like when you're playing junior little kid soccer and you get an orange wedge. But then after you get your orange wedge, they tell you, oh, by the way, you got to play the team that's the state championship over. They're waiting for you. They already got their flowers. Tulane and James Madison did going into these games and going up to a home environment in Oregon and Mississippi. It's a tough thing to watch. It's a tough thing to see because you'd like to think it's going to be a competitive game, but it's not. And what happened with Ole Miss is Ole Miss said, we're mad still. So they kept on laying the lumber throughout the game. And then Oregon said, we're up 34-6 or whatever it was at halftime. And they coasted and we get what you get there. So I don't know if I think Ole Miss doesn't need the motivation. I'm a little worried about Oregon in the next round. I just don't know if that game did any benefit to them whatsoever, except some gate money for the university.
I don't think Georgia's all that good. Obviously I think they got a little bit better running the ball towards the end of the year, but I think Ole Miss gets it done. I think they win. Ole Miss money line, baby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you made that pretty clear right there. There's going to be a couple.
You got two money lines,
money
but
lines.
that's a two money line games with a spread. I think that you're gonna make some good money there.
Yeah, well, if you're right, Coach, we're going to be looking at some interesting cash changing hands. By the way, and I said this on the show last week when I said Oregon, lay the points. I said that my play, and I did, was Oregon first half.
Yeah,
and I hit that. I hit it hard. Had a feeling that Oregon might, kind of take the foot off the accelerator. I didn't think to that effect that they would be able to come back and backdoor cover. Give James Madison credit. They kept playing right till the final gun, 51-34. I always thought Oregon got a tough draw here anyway. I can't believe they're a favorite in the game against Texas Tech. That's Texas Tech money line for me.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
What's the spread?
It's 2 right now.
Oh, I might have to go Oregon all day on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me why, Coach.
I just think that their offense. I just think they're going to be able to score some points, and I don't think Texas Tech will be able to keep up.
Interesting.
Like I said, Oregon athletically, from an athlete perspective, is going to be superior to Texas Tech. What's going to come down to is the two quarterbacks. I think that in Texas Tech's case, they've got to get chunk plays. They can't grind it out against Oregon. They got to have to get chunk plays, and that means it's going to have to come down to quarterback making throws. He's looked good, but not spectacular. And then the flip side is Dante Moore has looked spectacular, and he's looked below average at times too. So who do you get? Do you get the consistent guy that's going to keep the game in the 20s, or do you get the guy on Oregon side who just goes wild throwing the football and getting to these athletes out there and making Texas Tech chase them around and get tired? I think it's one of the more complicated games to kind of put together because the styles are so different. And Texas Tech's been on. They're sort of they're not Indiana darling, but they're a close runner up to being the darling of this tournament.
We never talked about this Alabama and Indiana spread or made our picks. What was that spread?
Indiana's favored by 7.
What?
7.
Oh, so I did say Alabama money line.
Yes, I believe you did.
All right, so 7. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this: if we're going to make just kind of some picks down with the points, I do like Alabama as well.
Money line or just by the points?
Just by points. I like Alabama. I think if they get a lead on Indiana, I think it's going to be tough for them to come back. I think that's been there already, kind of thing that kind of plays a hand in it. So I'll take Alabama with the points. I like Miami.
Mm-hmm. Getting the
I
10.
like Miami.
Getting the 10 or money line.
Getting the 10.
Getting the 10.
I like getting the 10. I'm all good. And then I will tell you this.
Coach Peacock's just shaking his head.
I
You can tell who the gamblers are and who aren't in this
I know.
particular.
I don't. I like Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss.
Okay.
Money line or the points?
I'm with the points. I'm picking straight points. That's what I'm going with the whole way. And I like. See, I'm still stuck on that other one, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, that one actually is the toughest one, I think.
That's the toughest one.
I'm not-
No,
Yeah,
it's the
I'm
4-5
Oregon.
matchup. I mean, it makes
Think
sense.
about that one.
Well, it's going to be weird, guys. It's the Orange Bowl at high noon on New
I'm
Year's
going,
Day.
I'm going Oregon money line. I'm going straight money line bets this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We
And I
got to
don't
lay a
know,
little.
I think they win maybe by 1. So
Okay.
I'm going Oregon money line.
I don't think Texas Tech's defense gets enough credit. I really don't. I think they're extremely physical. And the only game I can compare with Oregon is the Indiana game.
Yeah.
And Oregon struggled with Indiana. They really did.
No,
So that's why I look at that game. But I think we got some pretty good matchups here. I really do. I think all the right teams won the other day, and I think this makes a great quarterfinal round. And obviously, if things turn out the way, especially Coach Peacock thinks, we're going to have a lot of interesting matchups in the semifinals for sure.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: would you be surprised if Tulane or James Madison beat Indiana if they played?
I'd be stunned.
You would be stunned?
Totally stunned. I would be totally stunned.
More stunned if they beat Alabama?
No. No, I listen, Indiana has not played the schedule. Ohio State's not played. The Big Ten has not played the schedule.
Right.
And they haven't played the SEC. I know where we're going with this.
I'm just saying, if you had a James Madison Indiana matchup and James Madison pulls out the win, I don't think it's a shocker to a lot of people.
Well, considering that 13 of James Madison's kids are on Indiana because Cignetti was able to get them to come over, I think it would be a shock.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Well, maybe I should have said Tulane.
Yeah.
Tulane beats Indiana.
Here's a question I got for you guys. Do any of the 3 guys that played for you, John, do they have any eligibility left, and would they follow Summerall to Florida?
Yeah. Hayes, I think Hayes is talking about being a punt returner there, but he's also got some other interests, other places. I think Zakar will probably stay put. And then Winnie, I think you see Winnie. I think he ends up at
LSU.
LSU. I mean, he hasn't said that. He hasn't said that, but I swear. I mean, I think him and Lane have a pretty good relationship, and I think he'll end up there.
It's all over. That's all over. Because I looked up Winnie to see if he was hurt during the game, and all it says is Winston Watkins will be at LSU and by next week, and they had wasn't about being hurt. It was like,
well, I asked them. I said, Winnie, what's up? And I sent him a picture of a tiger, and he just laughed, and he said he don't know. I said, yeah, whatever, I know.
By the way, you say
the question about Tulane over Indiana. I think that Tulane wouldn't surprise me as much as James Madison would.
But it would surprise you if Tulane beat Alabama?
What's the difference in the two? No, yes, 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that because here, and you're right, because here's why. I think if you watch college football for a long time, you're still looking at Indiana saying, is that glass slipper really fitting right now? Is there still something,
right.
You know what I mean? Like you're still looking at like a quarterback. Mendoza wasn't like a highly rated guy coming out. You know, he played in Miami Columbus, played against Venice High School. Look, a good quarterback in high school, right? Did he look like a Heisman Trophy winner?
He didn't finish the game.
And playing against a guy like Michael Penix or a guy like J.J. McCarthy, and going through the guys that we've seen that did look like they could be Heisman Trophy winners.
Well, J.J. beat us; the other two didn't.
Yes, right, exactly. And
but Mendoza
J.J. had a lot of help on that one too.
Mendoza didn't make it through the game.
No. And that's my point. So you look at the guy, say he's the best player on the team, potentially. You've got some guys that are. I mean, again, watching them play physically against some of these teams is very surprising, Indiana. But it's because you look at the roster and you say to yourself, this is not composed of a bunch of guys that sort of got booted out of programs. You're right. Signetti took guys from James Madison, turned them into Big Ten champions in some ways, and so it would be a surprise.
I think
more
the slipper
over
break
Alabama over than Indiana. I would feel more like of a surprise with that.
I don't think the slipper fits this week. I think it's going to break big time against Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, you said it. Alabama money line. Even
Alabama
lean
money
in. I love the fact that you lean in when you say those.
Alabama money line, Ole Miss money line,
Miami money line.
and Miami money line.
Yeah.
And we're going to go
Oregon.
Money line, even though they're favorites.
Okay.
Just to be safe on that one.
Couple things from college before we move on to the pros. Coaches keep getting paid thanks to openings. Michigan just got Ken Dillingham paid 5 years, $35 million to stay at Arizona State. Guys, who's going to be the next Michigan football coach? I mean, they're running out of candidates, and I've heard some stories that they might not even have a coach by spring game because of this investigation that's going on.
What's the investigation have to do with it?
Because they're going to have to clean house. They're going to have to get rid of everybody. Ward Manuel's probably gone. Certainly, a couple of people talked about maybe one of the assistants. I don't think
they were aware of it and didn't act on it.
They participated in it with money.
Thank you.
They think that
because they gave her the money, but so they were aware of it and they let it happen.
Yes. Right. So Sharon Moore said it. My assistant needs to get a raise from $58,000 to $99,000 a year. And if you walked into Larry Shannon's athletic department office, you said, "Hey, Larry, I need to get Tim Wideline an extra $40,000," and he would say, "For what?" And so when Sharon Moore walked into the guy, he said, "For what?" He said, "Because I got a girlfriend and I want to pay her." Or what did he say? Or I got to pay her off. Was already a point where she was already about ready to throw him under the bus for the relationship, and she strong-armed him into getting money. Who knows? But that's the investigation part of it. And if the athletic department had any idea or culpability in this, they got to clean house on who the guys are going to hire the next coach. So Michigan is trouble.
You know what the big thing is?
What's that?
He didn't beat Ohio State.
Yeah. And there's some truth to that.
He beats Ohio State. We don't even hear about this.
I totally 1,000% agree with you.
It's buried. But again, because I'll tell you why you're 100% right, because the girl, the assistant, the girlfriend, we'll call her in this case, walked into Michigan's offices 2 weeks before the Ohio State game, and with a team of lawyers, okay, and said, "Here's where it's at." So this has been going on all season, last year, whatever's been going on, and think about how whacked out the coach has to be that he's going to grab a butter knife and a spoon, and he's going to try to threaten to kill himself. What was he? He was just off the rails altogether. So that didn't happen overnight. It couldn't have.
Well, you asked who we're going to hire. Who's Sharon Moore?
That he's Jim Harbaugh's handpicked guy, I think, pretty much.
I mean, so who are they going to hire? Who knows? Who's Sharon Moore? I mean, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was till he did the.
Well, he was a Michigan man. He was
a
Michigan man.
I didn't. You asked me if you asked me who Sharon Moore was a month ago. I have no idea.
Really,
I would know.
Yeah, I mean that does take a little bit of a two beat to remember who the coach is when he sort of got hired very clandestinely into the situation. But I'll try to answer your question, Rich. As far as Michigan's concerned, I have no idea, and I think the problem is that they are going to wait for a while, and it's gonna destroy recruiting. But I don't think that's even an issue right now. I think there's going to be so many more things to deal with than other than that. And the portal, that's going to be where they're going to see a lot of it. Portal opens up next week,
January 2nd. Yeah,
you might see a mass exit. The quarterback's gone, Underwood. So you've got that happening. So who knows? Where they end up, who knows?
Their portal's already open because the coach is gone.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
they-
true. That's right. You have 30 days, and then
So
so it's
they're
open,
Yeah.
and then it can go.
It'll
Even
open.
more.
It'll open again for them, but it's already open now.
Right. You get 30 days. Yeah, this is everything. The timing, everything just smells. The fact that they held on until after signing day, and they got, depending on who you talk to, the 7th, the 11th best signing class of the season.
That can
And
change.
then like 3 or 4 days later, it all comes out, and everything just it just smells.
All those signings they can get out of those too.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
But
all
Michigan, that's why I think they're culpable, because I think they're like, all right, let's just hang on here until we get through signing day and get all these kids in, and so it's a messy situation, and good luck. That's all I got to say. All right, the 941 Sports Zone brought to you by the good folks at Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. 941-251-4257. 941-251-4257. They're locally owned, but they're nationally backed, and they do a great job on roofs all up and down the Gulf Coast. So give them a call, 941-251-4257. That's Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. The Mighty Dog's been kind of quiet since the beginning of the show.
Yes.
Might have heard him a little earlier. So
he's kicking off the show for you. That's all.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, let's move to the NFL and the sorriness that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The spiral just continues. I don't have much to say. I thought the game plan yesterday, when you play not to lose, John Tortorella, who used to coach the Lightning, had a famous saying, "Safe is death." And it looked like the Buccaneers played not to lose yesterday, and they ended up losing. Coach, I know you haven't had much experience with teams that lose 7 out of 8 or what have you, but how do you change the spiral? How do you get them out of the funk?
Well, the easiest way is, obviously they're professionals, so
Right.
I think that's a little different. Do they still have a chance to get in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Supposedly they win their last 2 games, they're in. I mean, they won the division.
What if it's 1-1?
It's 1-1 if it's the right one. If they lose to Miami but win, because it looks like Carolina is going to lose next week. They're playing Seattle at home.
Yeah.
So if Carolina loses, no matter what the Bucs do, although there is this scenario which is wild. Apparently, if Atlanta wins out, and that includes beating the Rams next Monday night, and they finish 8-9, and the other 2 teams finish 8-9, it's a 3-way tie, and Carolina wins that, no matter who wins the last game.
Yeah, I think if there's still, a chance for them to get in the playoffs, I think that you can definitely turn that around and right the ship for sure. They're professionals, so they know they're going to know exactly what it takes to get into the playoffs, and I think they will turn around. I mean, the NFL is a weird deal, and the difference between winning and losing is so minute. In the NFL, as well as it gets a little bit finer every level you go up, but I mean it's usually comes down to the last drive and who kicks the field goal, right?
In the case of yesterday, yes, Carolina on their last drive kicked the field goal, and the Bucs were moving towards it when Baker threw the ill-fated interception. And again, just one of those. It's a read play, and Evans read one thing and Baker read the other, and Baker threw it. It looked like he threw it right to the guy from Carolina, but obviously he thought Evans was going to continue his route, and Evans thought that Baker was scrambling off to the right. Nonetheless, I'm not sure this game really should have been close. Carolina really wasn't doing much at all in the first half, and yet they score on the zero blitz. It seems like Todd Bowles, every time he goes zero blitz at a big spot, boom goes the dynamite.
Todd. I mean, Todd when Todd was the Jets guy, he would let you go all the way down the field, play soft, bend, don't break, and then be first and goal at the 7 or 8 yard line, send the house at that point, right? And then so now you got man to man. You don't get to the quarterback, it's a touchdown. Never understood the dynamic of it. But Rich, I'm going to ask you a question too, just pertaining to Todd Bowles and everybody else. So if you're looking at the Buccaneers beginning of the year and now, what's the most talented unit on that team? What room is the most talented on that team? Offense. Offensive what? Receivers?
Yes.
You got Evans back healthy. You got Godwin
back healthy.
Who's going to get? You got Ibuka, whatever. So if your life is on the line, your playoff life's on the line right now, why are you not going opening it up? Okay, you got a gunslinger at quarterback anyway but you're tying everybody's hand. You're going to play with one hand behind their back. The O-line is beat up, okay, a little bit. So why not get the ball out of his hands? Use Bucky Irving in the passing game a little bit more. This idea of trying to hold back, or whatever it may be, or sort of trying to play within. You're playing scared.
Yes,
you're playing
that's
scared.
A great term.
And so I don't understand that. And it's if you go down and you said, hey, we just threw everything at him. It was all on the line. Everybody's going to be on board with that. You go back and say, well, we just thought the way the tempo of the game. Don't give us that crap. That doesn't make any sense. What you're saying is you're scared. You played scared. You're afraid to be a winner. Okay, there was a point in this season that they were the number 1 seed
right
in the NFC. And how were they doing it? Baker was throwing it all over the place, right? Oh, Baker was the MVP of the league. Now it looks like a bum again. But why is that the case? I'll give injuries a little portion of that, but maybe the fact that they're not letting him throw the football down the field.
Yeah, I thought watching the game yesterday and watching his throws particularly in the first 3 quarters, I thought he was hurt and they were just protecting him. He didn't throw a ball more than 15 yards, and then all of a sudden he throws the ball to Ibuka, and I look up and I go, "Where the hell has that been all game long?" It's puzzling. It's puzzling.
The score was 23-20 at the final. That game was as important of a game as the Chicago Green Bay game was, and the Jacksonville Denver game was, and I can name a Miami, Pittsburgh, and
Detroit.
Okay, New England, and the Ravens last night. But you know what? That Buccaneer Carolina game, I fell asleep because it was that boring. It was a dud, and Todd Bowles made it that way. Okay, you got guys that they're making plays. Look at Pittsburgh. Gainwell all the way downfield, catches the ball one hand before it hits the ground. Right, you got Aaron Rodgers there to do that, and he performed relatively well. You got Baker to be a gunslinger, and what is he doing? He's dinking and dunking
down. He's throwing 5-yard passes. Yeah,
it's stupid. So they're just making it. If they don't make the playoffs, which is I would say it's probably leaning that way. You can blame a lot of things, but the number one guy to blame is Todd Bowles.
Yeah, well, he's going to probably end up taking the fall. There's handwriting on the wall. 2008 when they collapsed late in the year, and 2011 when they did. They made coaching changes at that time, and I think that's what it might take here. You mentioned the Jaguars. What a win in Denver yesterday. Got a chance to see that game here. I don't know why it was on here. It was only on in Jacksonville and Denver, but I watched the whole game. I don't know who's quarterback in the Jaguars. I mean, he has played the last 4 or 5 games lights out. Trevor Lawrence. Maybe he's finally just turned the corner. But they were
new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's
right.
Well, the new head coach who was the Bucs offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And he's finally understood standing the offense. He's throwing with conviction. And Parker Washington had a game yesterday that just, was next level. To go into Denver, a team, everybody basically wrote Jacksonville off in this game, and to go into Denver and not just beat the Broncos, they beat the brakes off them. They beat them by 14, and that was about what the score should have been. It's not like they did anything spectacular. They did turn them over a couple of times on defense when they were trying to come back, but listen, maybe the Jags are that team. We got brand new. This is the one thing that excites me about the playoffs coming up. We got a lot of new blood.
Yeah.
No Kansas City, probably no Baltimore now. All Pittsburgh has to do is win in Cleveland. They clinch the division, and the Ravens are out. We've got a lot of new blood, particularly in the AFC, but even in the NFC as well.
Yeah, no doubt. John, I got a question for you, but we're talking about what Rich said before. when you're a new head coach, and each level is different. How long does it usually take before your footprint, if you want to call it that, is on the team? Like you feel like, hey, how many games is into the season, the first season, second season? How long before you think you should see your team emulating what you want them to be?
In high school, I think it takes at least a full year.
But then in high school, college, pro, what you say about a year is what you would think.
Yeah, I would think this. I would think the same. But definitely a full year. I mean, that first year, you're still figuring out. Oh, I got to fix this. I got to fix that, or I don't have to fix that, or I think it takes a full year to go through the whole process of a full calendar year to figure out exactly what you want and what you want to change. And
there's a buy-in on the players' part too, I would imagine.
Yeah, so, and that's a big part of it. Is you got to get the buy-in from the players. That's the huge thing, and that sometimes takes longer depending on the circumstances and depending on really, is you're talking about a head coach. Really, it kind of depends on who you're replacing too. I mean,
right.
If you're replacing Nick Saban,
it takes you 3 years.
Yeah,
it ain't happened yet.
You're just the guy that replaced Nick Saban.
Yeah.
That's
no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, I use that example because you said about the Jaguars, right? And I'll use it in some ways. So Liam Cohen, he's they're 13, 14 games into the season. They've had OTAs, and these guys are professional players too. Okay. They know that they got to either you buy in or you're on another team, right?
Well, the success is going to help with that too.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So and then that's 100% right. So go back to what you're talking about. Look at the new coaches this year, and who do you look at and say who's bought in, who didn't buy in? Did the Patriots buy into Mike Vrabel?
Yeah,
right.
They look like a team last night that they won that game because of the buy-in at the end. They weren't going to lose.
But again, who did Vrabel replace?
He replaced the guy, a 1 year one and done guy, that was it.
You don't even know his name.
Right.
So it's a lot easier for Mike Vrabel to replace the guy that you don't know his name.
Exactly
didn't
right.
have success. Now they're having success. You know what I mean?
Who about Ben Johnson in Chicago?
Who's that?
Ben Johnson in Chicago. What about him?
He's Detroit. He was with Detroit's offensive coordinator last year. Goes in
head coach of Chicago.
Yep.
Yes.
And he's done a hell of a job.
Yeah, but who was the guy at Jacksonville last year?
Urban Meyer.
No. It was. I don't. Doug
See,
Peterson?
you don't even know his name. So it's really easy to replace that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think it was Doug Peterson. I think it was the guy that replaced Peterson, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. But you're right, and that's
my point. These are guys that you don't even know who they are, and so it's easy to replace that, and then you throw success on top, then that's huge. But one day if you got to replace Mike Tomlin, it might take a little longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Tomlin has his footprint in that team. So, and then there's also going to be a lot of guys that are Mike Tomlin guys, but I can't say that the same as as far as the Jacksonville team this year or the Chicago team last year, because there's no success there. So what would the buy-in be?
Well, right. But you're all in because you're hoping that guy makes it better for you. You know what I mean? And it's easier. And I'll even use, again, going back to another guy, Sean Payton in Denver, right? Sean Payton is a great coach. He's been proven. He's a Super Bowl winner. Yeah. And if you're replacing somebody we don't remember either. And there's a reason why the Denver's at the top of the heap right now, because he walked in there and he said, I'm Sean Payton. I'm going to win you football games. Listen to me. Go along with me. Buy into it. And now that took them a year, and now they're in their second year. And what do you know? They're the number one team in the AFC because a great coach walked in, took a guy like Bo Nix. Now, the one thing I'll say about Bo Nix, he had 70 starts in college. He's been there for 9 years.
I thought it was 170.
Right. And he comes in with a lot of experience and a guy who's a coach's son, and his dad was a player as well, and a buy-in guy. And Sean Payton said, you want to make a couple $1 million a year? Like maybe a $40 million a year? Listen to me and do what I tell you. And you're going to be really good. And then you're going to be great if you keep listening to me. And the buy-in's there. And that's a lot to do with that. So, and then there's new coaches who walk in who don't have the same situation behind them.
Right.
And you see it. and they're the ones tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they are like, well, you know what? With the first year we're throwing it all away because it was only going to be a rebuild anyway. But now we're going to be shitty again next year because we got to start in with a new guy and a new quarterback and everything else. Those are the places that they don't ever get it right. They don't ever figure it out because it's not about buy-in, because you can't buy into it because you're not giving the person the opportunity to put their footprint on it in those cases. I will say, though, that going back to the beginning of the conversation, Liam Cohen has done a phenomenal job, and you can see why the Buccaneers miss him.
Yeah. Well, listen, there's a point in this season where he could have lost the Jaguars. Remember the Houston game?
Yeah.
Where they blew the 19-point lead in the fourth quarter, and that dropped them to 5-4. They haven't lost since. So apparently something he said after that game or what have you has certainly galvanized the team. By the way, it was Doug Peterson last year. I doubt myself sometimes. But in all seriousness, I mean, that could have been it. They were 5-4. Mm-hmm. They were on the fringe of the playoffs. Kansas City was breathing down their neck. And next thing you know, they rip off 6 in a row, including against – I mean, that win yesterday was impressive.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times you win a game on the road, you get outstatted, you get a couple of turnovers, you know.
You can't breathe in high air.
You're not really the better team. They were the better team yesterday.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anyway, we talked about, or we didn't talk about because we haven't been on since Thursday, but Seattle, now the number 1 seed in the NFC, after that thrilling win against the Rams. A couple of controversial calls in that game as well. Look for a amendment to the 2-point conversion coming up after that 2-point conversion by Seattle late in the game that made it a 1-score game, but nonetheless. And let's give Sam Darnold a little credit because he gets a lot of crap. I mean, the way they finished last year, you know, he had the terrible game against Detroit, and then he had the horrible playoff game against the Rams. First game against the Rams, he threw 4 interceptions, and they only lost by 2. And in this game, he threw 2 interceptions early, but stuck to it and ended up getting the W. Maybe this is the moment that Sam Darnold grows up a little bit.
Well, he's been in the league for 9 years, and he's still 19 years old. I mean, he's been he's the oldest guy I've ever seen. And again, it goes back to the idea that the whole concept of quarterbacks sort of finding their way and then landing in the 3rd or 4th spot and finally getting it when they get to the right guy and the right person means a lot. It means a lot. It's just and his right guy might not have been at Seattle. His right guy might have been a year ago in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you there, but he's certainly taking advantage. We talked about the Bears game against the Packers. Turned out to be quite the game. Bears down 10 with under 3 minutes to go. Get the onside kick. I mean, you're beginning to think that the Bears are leading the charmed life that the Commanders did last year, winning these games late when it looked like it was next to impossible. But they're in first place. They clinched a playoff berth with the loss late yesterday. And they have a chance to clinch the division coming up this week. I know they got to go to San Francisco. Could be a playoff preview. There's a lot of really good games left in the NFL, but the Bears are there. And again, Ben Johnson, I mean, they miss him in Detroit, and Chicago certainly is taking full advantage.
Yeah, he's a hard ass. He's not a guy he doesn't mince words, and he does whatever, but he seems like there's a buy-in there, and to get Caleb Williams to buy in is a pretty amazing thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So we talked a little about New England coming from 11 down and putting Baltimore on the edge of extinction. The 49ers, listen, the 49ers are sitting there. Everybody's talking about the Rams and Seattle. If the 49ers win out, they have got Indy later on, this podcast being recorded Monday afternoon. They beat Indy, and then they turn around and beat Chicago, and they win the last game of the year. They're the NFC West champs and the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So they still got it all in their own hands, and they're getting healthier.
Very quiet season for 49ers fans. They've been winning the games they should win. No big blow-ups. Just it's going to be a matter of how they play the last couple of games. Home field is such a big deal. Coach Peacock's talking about home field in the high school level. pro football, college football, all those, everything involved with that, home field is a 90% help. Like I said, if you look at the college games on Saturday, Texas A&M was the one team that didn't, hold their ground. No, I'm sorry, Oklahoma as well. But nonetheless, it takes something when you have that home field. It means a lot. And I think in the NFL, we've seen it over years where there's always such a big advantage of having that home field advantage into the playoffs.
Philly wins their second consecutive NFC East title. That hasn't been done since the early 2000s. No team has gone back-to-back. They do against Washington. Coach, you have a favorite NFL team?
Well, I'm kind of like college. My favorite was Belichick and Brady, but now I'm more or less a Bucs fan.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Have you? By the way, the Bucs. Have you seen the documentary on Prime?
Yes, I've watched about half of it.
Yeah, really, really, really cool. Really interesting.
It really is. And as a lifelong Bucs fan, I was growing up in New York, and I adopted the Bucs when they were losing all those games at the beginning.
Yeah,
and took a lot of crap for it, but it's fun to watch the old footage and the old McKay isms, and now we're getting into the at least where I'm watching, getting into the Super Bowl from 2003. It was. It's really good, and it's really in depth. I love the fact
that it is. It's pretty cool. They have all the old footage, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, nothing like some SD footage these days. You look at some highlights, and you're like, "We watch TV like that? Really? Wow!"
Yes, we did.
All right, so guys, on Christmas Day, back when they made the schedule, these games all look sexy, but now we got Dallas and Washington. That's the 1:00 Netflix game. The 4:30 Netflix game on Christmas Day is Detroit at Minnesota. And the late game, the one that's on Prime, is Denver and Kansas City. And Kansas City, okay, I guess if you're going to have something happen, have it all happen at once in the same year.
Yeah.
Mahomes tears his ACL. Minshew jumps in, and yesterday he tears his ACL, and they're playing some guy I've never heard of. And I consider myself a decently knowledgeable sports fan. I was like, who in the heck is that? And apparently he played at South Dakota State or something.
And he's been on the practice squad for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So he knows the offense. So he's
Kansas City money line.
Kansas City money line. All right. Well, that's interesting. I haven't even looked up what the spread is on that game. Denver still needs it. They want to stay the 1 seed. So a couple of interesting games on Saturday. Houston is at the LA Chargers. Houston has rattled off, I think, 6 or 7 in a row themselves, and the Chargers are sitting at 11-4 with the chance. They'll know if John's right and we go Kansas City money line, they'll have a chance to tie Denver, and they own the tiebreakers.
Yeah. No,
so
this last 2 weeks, the NFL couldn't ask for a better situation with the 17-game schedule. Every game matters.
Yeah. Okay. And they managed to pick the pretty good ones for Saturday. Baltimore at Green Bay. Neither starting quarterback is guaranteed to play in that game, because Jordan Love left with a concussion in Chicago, although they have a very good backup in Malik Willis. And, of course, Jackson left last night with some sort of lower leg injury, and he hasn't been healthy all year.
I thought it was back injury.
Yeah, back injury? Okay. Well, it looked like he was limping, but then, that's right, Coach. Thanks.
Sometimes your back makes you limp.
Yes.
Yeah,
raising my hand here.
Sciatic nerve.
That is true.
Yeah, no question about it. So that's an intriguing game. Tampa Bay. Now you'll know if the Bucs are completely broken. They're going to Miami, who has totally went into tank mode, and they gave the keys of the car to Quinn Ewers. Yeah. Good luck there. And Cincinnati, he made Cincinnati's defense look good yesterday.
No, there's no.
What's that spread? What's the Bucs spread against Miami?
That's a good question. I'll look that up while I look up a couple of other things. Carolina hosts Seattle. Now, Carolina's already beaten the Rams at home, so it's not out of the realm that they win that game. And if they do, they put themselves in a much better position to possibly clinch the division, although they still have to beat Tampa Bay in the last game.
Right. That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Exactly. So Trying to log in here with my fingerprint. Meanwhile, Jacksonville's in Indianapolis. That's an interesting game. Jacksonville wants to stay a step ahead of Houston, and they'll already know what the Texans have done. They could very well have a division clinching game in Indy against Old Man Rivers.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And
Texans win the Super Bowl.
Texans win the Super Bowl. They almost didn't beat the Raiders yesterday, Coach.
Texans win the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, you can get about 22-1 on that. I would definitely go. I don't know if does the Hard Rock app do futures?
Yeah.
I will say this about the Texans. They have the second best defensive line in the country behind the Miami Hurricanes because because that defensive line that they have, those aren't
they're
studs. They're robots.
Anderson, Anderson has turned out to be, the same draft as back-to-back picks, Stroud and Anderson. Anderson,
I don't know if it's the uniforms, Rich. I don't know what it is, but when Houston lines up, I get scared through the TV set. I'm like, what the hell is that? I mean, that is.
And then Ashton Genty, who's done nothing for 5 weeks, runs wild against them yesterday. Sometimes you don't understand this league.
That's a bit of an overlook.
Yeah, Coach Peacock, the Bucks are favored by 5.5.
Oh, take the Bucks all day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
We're going to turn this. We're going to have a gambling podcast, I think, after this. You and I will jump in there. And
some ways, watching us is a gamble. Yes.
Wait, this isn't a gambling podcast.
I said we should start a gambling podcast.
But this isn't a gambling podcast.
Well, one of the three of us, and you can kind of figure it out, doesn't really like to gamble.
Oh, but you can talk about it.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm wins and losses.
You're about wins and losses, but you won't take any of your dogs on the money line. Hello?
No, I know. Simple.
Mr. Conservative.
Keep it simple.
Pittsburgh can clinch the AFC North with a win at Cleveland. Cleveland showed that they have hardly given up. They gave Buffalo a game yesterday. They beat Pittsburgh last year in the snow. I remember that game vividly. That's a tough place for Pittsburgh to go to play, but if they can win it, they can clinch the division. New England goes to the Meadowlands.
Bye-bye.
Against the Jets. New England closes. They've got a 1-game lead over Buffalo, and they close with at Jets and Miami at home, who have just, again, Quinn Ewers.
Right. They got you. And
I think the Patriots will be able to get the horse in the barn.
And they're the type of team, watching them with Vrabel and everybody else, their style, that they're not going to blow those games.
No, he won't let them. Here's a game that means this is a great game, but I think it means absolutely nothing in the standings. Buffalo and Philadelphia. Philadelphia's already clinched, although they can, get up and be the 2 seed, which would probably, behoove them if they can. And Buffalo is chasing New England, but I have a funny feeling they're going to end up being the 6 seed. And that's bad news for whoever is the 3 seed in the AFC.
Buffalo is continuing to look average.
Okay.
And I thought yesterday was an average game against Cleveland. Josh Allen threw for 120 yards. Why? Because they had a D-line. Yeah, and you got the D-line that's going to keep him in the pocket, not let him move around and make plays. He makes plays. He's a great football player. Don't get me wrong, but if Josh Allen can't be Josh Allen, he's not going to be able to handle it. I look at the game like that. Philly should just go out there and by the way, Cook has played phenomenal. He is phenomenal as far as what he's done. But I think Philly goes out there and proves themselves to be the division winner and everything else, and stomps the hell out of Buffalo.
In Buffalo, that's interesting.
Yes, I listen. I think Philly is. I think they've got some they need to go to therapy. They need marriage counseling or something. I'm not sure what it is. Once they get their act together and they're not all about whatever their BS is, they're a tough team to beat.
They're a good team. They're actually going to lose to the Texans in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Now,
there it is.
There you go.
Coach Peacock. We can write him down. Is that your lock, Coach?
Yeah. Let's make sure this is recorded.
Yeah, it is recorded. Don't worry. It's
archived.
Recorded. Yes, archived. There you go. All right. The Sunday night game next week, again, Chicago and San Francisco. That's interesting game. The Bears could sew up the NFC North. And, of course, I already mentioned San Francisco can be the 1 seed if they win out. So
Yeah.
San
that's a
Francisco
pretty
money
big
line.
game.
San Francisco money line.
San Francisco money line means you're going to be playing minus money, Coach.
Well, they're favored.
I'm pretty sure. I'll tell you
I
right
thought
now.
the way you guys talk about the Bears that they would be favored.
the
San
Bears
Francisco, it's in San Francisco. San Francisco's favored 2.5.
Still money line.
Okay.
And the Bears already clinched the division, I thought already. Or they're
No,
definitely-
because if they lose their last 2 and Green Bay wins their last 2.
but they definitely are in the playoffs, though, right?
Oh,
They're
yes,
already in
they
the
clinched the
playoffs.
playoff
Okay.
berth, but yeah, Green Bay, because of the tie, could be 11-5-1, and the Bears could be 11-6.
A young team figuring how to win with a new coach. I can see them losing to San Francisco only because they're kind of in. Maybe you get a little lazy. Maybe it's maybe you get a boot in your ass because you didn't play well. That could be something that happens with the Bears in that game.
All right. That's on the Monday night game next week. Has the Rams in Atlanta. Oh, there's this other titanic struggle for the number 1 overall pick. Giants and Raiders.
Yeah, someone's got to lose.
Yeah. Someone's going to be tanking harder than the other.
We're moving
Jackson
up.
Dart.
You get to move up another spot.
Well, I look for the Giants to shut him down.
Oh, I
Jackson
wouldn't doubt
Dart.
it. They have to.
He's his own worst enemy.
Yes.
He is.
You know what
You
the
already
NFL
said
should
it.
do? You know what the NFL should do?
What should they do, Coach?
The 2 teams are on the line there for the last pick. They should play week 1 of the playoffs. The winner gets their first pick.
Well, they're already playing right here. They can make it.
Well,
Yeah, but the winner doesn't get the first pick. The winner loses the first pick.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the winner gets the first pick.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they actually have to
Winner.
try to win.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well-
I like that thought, actually. I really
Yes.
do. Because it's fairly obvious that both teams
They,
are. I mean,
they play week
Minnesota
1.
won.
They make them play week 1 of the playoffs. The winner gets the first pick.
And you guys are teeing me up for my what's bugging me. You've been
I know you are.
ready to go. You're teeing me up.
Well, you kind of hinted at it in the first 3 minutes of the podcast. So
My nickname today.
yes, absolutely, not tanking. All right, locks of the week. We're both now 7-6. I got backdoored by Oregon, and you had Ole Miss. We both took what we thought was the easy route, but it wasn't. I gotta look this up. John, you have a lock? Because I mean, most of these games actually. The college games don't happen until after our next podcast, but if you want to throw a lock in, you can.
Oh, I'll say so. They're playing when now?
After our
They're
next podcast, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Okay, well I can't do that. Then I gotta because I was gonna pick Miami. I like Miami.
Okay, you can do that still.
All right, then I'm gonna lock them in.
All right.
Miami getting 10.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Coach, what's your favorite play?
My
I know
locks.
you have 3 money
Okay.
lines.
All right. So my locks are. I'm going to do one lock, and it's a parlay lock.
Okay.
It's Miami, it's Alabama, and it's Ole Miss, and it's
Oregon.
No,
It's Oregon or
I'm
Texas.
just going those 3. We're going to go 3-game parlay, all money lines. Take it to the bank.
I want to see what that's worth. This is going to be bad podcasting, but all right, I'll go. I'll tell you what. While you're doing your what's bugging me, John, or Coach, whichever one, I will go ahead and put it in my phone and see what it would be at FanDuel. How's that?
Okay.
Oh, I got to pick a lock. You know what? I'm going to go San Francisco tonight. We're recording this 3:56 p.m., so kickoff's still 4 hours away. I'll lay the 5.5.
Okay.
You know, the Phillip Rivers is a nice story. However, he's playing a real team this week.
And the injury to Danny Dimes and a couple other things is kind of the Colts in the going on the downhill. So
yeah. All right. Time for what's bugging me. And John, you've been chomping at the bit since we started.
okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm not in favor of tanking. I don't know if you realize this or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're not tanking.
Well, the thing is that watching games yesterday and watching people talk about, well, the New York Jets are going to move up one position to get to the 4th pick overall. They'll have more of a chance to move up to get the quarterback that they want, and all this BS, right? From a fan perspective, I watch other fans of teams like the Jets and other teams in the same position, all rooting for their team to lose, with the fool's gold expectation that one player is going to make your 3-11 shitty team that much better next year. In all honesty, teams that tank very rarely get better. They usually get worse because the culture has been established that how are you your roster next year that basically sat around and did nothing. How are they going to respond to a coach when he's like, now I want to win. Now I'm ready to go. This organization is this. It doesn't bode well. Plus the idea that we mentioned, the Sam Darnolds of the world and all these guys that have been drafted by the Jets, by other teams, who spent 9 years wandering the earth looking for a place to play quarterback, or have learned how to play quarterback, and the Jets don't get those guys anymore. They're on the next guy who's supposed to be good. Do you, as a football observer, I'll ask John Peacock this. Fernando Mendoza is supposed to be the first quarterback picked in this draft. Do you see him playing and think that's the guy I'm going to see hoisting a trophy over his head or winning anything in the next 4 or 5 years with the team that picks him?
Heck no, I don't think he's a starter.
I say the same thing. We're in love with whatever's the new fresh baby, whatever else it is. The quarterbacks that they were picking to be number one picks in the draft, beginning of the college football season, were Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, Lenore Sellers, the guy at frickin' Missouri, whatever else they were, right?
Kubiak.
None of them are around. Dante Morris is stuck around a little bit. None of them are. They all in the garbage. And now you're going to tell me that these guys who were 6'4", big arm, pedigreed, all whatever they are, that all of a sudden that this guy is better than them? That makes no sense. Because you based it on what their talent was, that they were clearly better than Fernando Mendoza. Okay, clearly better. And so now you're going to tank to go waste use one draft pick first round and waste another first round draft pick to move up one to get a guy who's going to contribute to you maybe never in his career. Odds are he won't, especially a Heisman Trophy winner. 10 guys that won the Heisman have made it to the Hall of Fame. 10, and hardly any of them are quarterbacks.
Right. And this was
ridiculous.
The 91st or 92nd Heisman winner?
Yeah.
Mendoza, something like that?
Yeah. So the idea that you would tank and as a fan be happy to watch them tank to go up to get this guy, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. Just can you just dial it in? You say I forfeit the next couple of games so nobody else gets hurt. But why bother the network? They could save some money by not bringing cameras to a nothing game. I have no idea. But the idea that you're going to tank because you think it's going to benefit you some way is fool's gold.
All right. Fair. Definitely fair. And I know you want to go the free agent route or a trade route. So
anyway, something, okay? There's got to be a way to get back to winning. I would sit down with somebody and say, you have to find me these quarterbacks, whatever they may be. I don't know. There's got to be somebody.
All right. Coach Peacock, do you have what's bugging you?
There's nothing bothering me.
The world's great, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I figured this out while John was talking.
350.
First of all, Miami is plus 300 on the money line. Alabama is plus 210. And Ole Miss is plus 198. If you parlay them, $10 get you back 3,600.
It's a nice day.
Let me make sure I did this right.
I think that's wrong. $100 gets you 3,600.
That's correct. $100 to get you 3,600. $10 to get you 359.52.
Yeah. 360.
Yep. Sorry about that.
So it's plus 360.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Take it.
And
I took it. I just took it.
Okay. Fantastic. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck, Coach.
It's going to happen.
It could. It definitely could. I don't the couple of spreads I think are a little high. I think the Indiana spread's a little high, and I
It
think
doesn't matter. It's money line.
right. But no, the spread creates what the money line is.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying they're going to lose.
Right.
The favorite's going to lose. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to take the what's bugging me in a completely different direction, guys. I'm going to take it to the Christmas shopping realm.
Oh,
I went Christmas shopping yesterday. I started my shopping. We're recording this on December 22nd, and I figured yesterday was a good day to start my Christmas shopping. And I have a mall that's right in my little town of Saugus, Massachusetts. It's a Simon property, Square One Mall. There are 3 escalators that are not operating, and it's a 2-story mall. 3 escalators. Are you serious? Really? I mean, I know the mall's falling apart and half the storefronts are not, are not even occupied. But for at least 5 days a year, 10 days a year, can you fix the escalators for Christ's sake?
no.
I'm an old man. I'm about to be 60, not 40, 60. And I know I need to get my steps in, but that's ridiculous. And
Well,
I
you know what?
I know this is a town, it's kind of a reverse Venice. This is a
Okay.
town that I bet you has a very similar average age.
Okay.
This
Rich,
is very similar
I suggest you start shopping on Amazon.
I'm a traditional. I like the Christmas shopping. I like
the
going
same
grocery
thing.
shopping. This is my
The same
cathartic
thing.
way of just getting an hour or two and just forgetting about everything else in life. And the least they could do is have the damn escalators working. I mean, holy crap!
You know what the guy who fixed the escalators doing? He's probably going out and shopping also. That's why it's not fixed.
Yeah,
And anybody
probably.
who says that the 22nd was the best day, it's only better than the 23rd and the 24th. That's the only way
That's
that
right.
makes it the best day.
So we're going to try a new mall later today, and hopefully all their escalators are working. But that's my simple.
That's what you do with your daughter. That's what
Huh?
you do with your daughter. That's
right.
there's your father-daughter day right there.
That's right.
I took my daughter to what's the mall there, Johnny?
Oh,
Lakewood Ranch.
you know, UTC?
Yeah, UTC.
Ah,
Drop her off, and then you went down.
No, I walked around.
Well, that's good of you.
how
See?
old's your daughter now, John? Coach?
13.
14?
13.
13.
Yeah.
We're getting old. I remember she was a little.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, we're all getting old.
Yeah, mine's 27. 27. Good luck. Coach,
Yeah.
you're just getting into the real happy times.
Oh yeah. I know. I make it even.
He's got
I
a
make it even
large
happier.
family.
Yeah, I make it even happier.
I know you do.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of the 941 Sports Zone. Any final thoughts? Start with you, Coach.
Yeah. Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss money line.
That's it.
He's gonna green that. I'm gonna have to clip it.
I will say Merry Christmas to everybody out
Yes.
there. If you're watching this, whatever time it is. Hope you've eaten well. I will as well. John knows about the Feast of the Seven Fishes on Christmas Eve, right, John?
Yep.
So that'll be.
I know about him too. I just prefer to skip that one.
Yeah, we load up on our fish and then we load up on whatever else is the next day. So we'll be all that. So to everybody up in Massachusetts, I hope you enjoy a white Christmas, maybe. I don't know if that's something in your plans,
It's
but
1 to 3 tomorrow could very well be a white Christmas.
after Christmas, just so everybody know out there, I have tea times on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we'll be out there doing that. So
Go fry eggs, pal. Go fry eggs. Coach, did you take up golfing?
I golf sometimes, like
Okay.
once, maybe once every 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't even play. You don't even play. By the way,
tournament.
your tournament is awesome. You don't even play in your own tournament.
No,
you used to.
I used to.
It's
I have,
better off.
I have a better.
I've
I've heard,
Be the
I
host.
asked that question because I've heard some stories. That's
I have
all
a better time delivering drinks nowadays.
There you go.
That's the host part of it is a good. I bet I didn't play the year before as well, and I had a really good time. It sort of revitalized it for me. I enjoyed myself that day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you very much for joining us
Yeah, thanks for
on
having
this
me.
edition of the 941 Sports Zone. And we'll hope to have you back in January as we get closer to the.
I'm coming back on after these teams cover.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Just for a
great.
minute.
We'll leave it open for you.
Yeah, we'll
Absolutely.
get
All right. Guys, have a great Merry Christmas. Happy New
You
Year.
too.
Well, I guess we'll see you, John, before the New Year. We'll see you
you. Yes.
next Monday. We'll get to do this all over again. We'll actually have more in-depth previews of the college games because they'll be just literally right around the corner, and we should have a lot of answers in the NFL, like did Quint Ewers beat the Bucks? Anyway, for Coach Peacock and for John Not Taking Masoni, I'm Spitz. Until next time, folks. So long, everybody.
Yep. All right, cool.